So, have you ever just had like one of those conversations with like one of your best friends while you're like watching a game show and you're just like, I could potentially go on there and, win a lot of money doing one of those game shows, and your best friend says, "Oh, bet." And signs you both up to like play, potentially like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, and then you go on there and you make a complete, ass out of yourself and absolutely, suck. That's like my biggest fear. I mean, I would love to go on and do game shows. It's just like, I don't want to make like a total ass on myself, but I have this YouTube channel that does that for me anyway. So what's the point now in even like hiding that fear anymore? So, hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and um, this movie was the first one out of the three that I'm seeing today, or plan on seeing today. Like I said in my Hell of a Summer review, this plan was supposed to be enacted yesterday, but I was called in to do overtime at my job today. So I was like, I'll just conserve my energy and like went to sleep. And also there was storms, and it is still storming here where I live. So, you know, just waiting until today, essentially, to kind of watch all my movies and get my reviews recorded for all of them. But the first film that I saw today was The Luckiest Man in America. This film stars Paul Walterhauser, David Straham, Maisie Williams, Shamir Anderson, Walter Goggins, a whole host of people, and it tells the story of Michael Larson, the infamous man who went on Press Your Luck and walked away with a huge amount of cash and prizes, and the people behind the scenes might be suspecting that he may be cheating the game. Um, so this one was very interesting because I think everyone has seen this specific game of Press Your Luck. I remember my dad showing me this particular game, and I'm just like, how on earth is he able to do that? Just absolutely miss the whammies, or yeah, missed the whammies. And I was just like, that's absolutely um, incredible. Um, and come to find out, later, he was actually gaming the game, and he had studied old episodes of the show and basically learned all the patterns and knew when to stop the board, and just kept racking up prizes, and basically walked away with a lot of money. Um, and that's just another thing that I found very fascinating, is how players can change the meta of a game. It happens like every once in a while where it's like you see certain players and come on to game shows, like more specifically like Jeopardy, for instance. Like you have your Ken Jennings and your James Holtzhauers, like guys that play the game differently and basically inspire a new generation of players for these game shows to essentially come in and, wipe the floor, set new records, all that stuff. I find that aspect of game shows very, very interesting. And of course, this is more of a dramatized version of the events that happen in real life. Um, I am lucky enough to say that I have met Paul Walterhauser. I actually met him over Royal Rumble weekend, and it was so awesome to meet him and just be able to talk to him, not only about wrestling, but also his acting career. So I found that very, very fortunate on my behalf. This film is shot really, really well. Um, I can't remember the name of the direct. I know his last name is like Oliveros. Um, I don't want to say his first name was Sergio, but I do know that his last name was Oliveros. Um, he did a really good job of shooting the film and also giving us looks into Michael's perspective when he's like on the game show and when he's looking at the board, like recognizing like, okay, when do I stop? When do I stop? When do I stop? I found that aspect very interesting. Shamir Anderson's character in this I found very interesting, as basically kind of the guy that's like kind of the right hand man to the executive of the show, and is like, and also the casting guy as well. And he's just like, oh, there's something's going on here. I got to put a stop to this at all costs. And I just found that very interesting as a turn from what he played in John Wick 4 to this. I just found that switch up very interesting. Also, I just love like the little cameos that we have. Not necessarily a little cameo for like Maisie Williams, but Johnny Knoxville is in this movie as a talk show host, and I just found that very interesting. It cut over to the band that he had on his set, and I'm like, is that the rest of the crew from Jackass as his band? I was like, that would have been hysterical if that was the case. Um, but I also do love the fact that they kind of made Michael like just a touch villainous, but also more humanistic, because he is doing this for his daughter and his wife, who they love watching the show. And so like he wants to go, oh, daddy was on TV and he won all this money and that's for you. But as we learn later on, it's kind of like a little tedious with their relationship. um and I just recently watched a video that Inside Edition had put out about this, and watching the real life Michael, and then watching and then just remembering what Paul did on the movie, like he did a pretty good job of portraying him. Of course, this isn't Paul's first time in kind of replicating a real life person, because he did the same thing in Richard Goodall, which I want to see. I want to see that film. I remember seeing the trailer for it when it first came out, and I wanted to go see it. It wasn't playing close to me, and so I wasn't able to see it. I do want to be able to see it, though. I want to be able to watch that film. But yeah, this film was really, really good. Um, the cast did really good. Direction was awesome. I loved the edits of kind of like Vision kind of going just a touch warpy when Michael was looking at the board sometimes. Um, and I thought the soundtrack for this was also really, really good as well. Yeah, this was like a solid little movie. If you guys have the chance to go watch this, I highly recommend that you guys go watch this, because it may be dramatized a bit, but also just kind of seeing this play out with uh, like modern eyes is something to behold. It is really, really good. But yeah, 2 films down, and I've got one more to go. And of course, I think you all know what this third film is going to be. But until that review comes out, guys, I will catch you later.